Welcome back, my friend, to this series on the Apostolate of the Laity. As we've been talking about over this series, the apostolic work of spreading the gospel to all creation so all men may know his saving redemption. Today we're going to talk about who specifically you are going to do your apostolate for. Who has God placed in your life? Who maybe is he sending you to share the gospel and hopefully to change their life forever by sharing the gospel with them. Again, what we've been working through this is the fourth episode now that we've been hashing out this 4-step framework for a personal apostolate, this OCIA acronym. We talked through, number one, the offer of what is the gospel message that resonates in your heart that you want to share with other people through word and testimony. We talked about charisms and how is the Holy Spirit, the power and grace of God, manifest in and through you to make that word take flesh and all the charisms that might be alive in you. Last episode, we talked about the intention and how to carve out space, prioritize apostolate, and make it take on some form that's actually just really enjoyable for you, that you can invite other people into. And today we're going to talk about who are those people? Who might those people be that you will engage apostolate for? Because apostolate is for people. It is people-oriented. It's not just for me. It is the sharing of the gospel with other people, hopefully to change someone's life, to introduce them to the person of Jesus, to lead them through a process of conversion to a place of salvation, redemption, abundant life with Jesus Christ for eternity. That's the noble thing that we're trying to do, but it's for people. Particularly, it is for people who maybe don't know Jesus yet, right? It's people who still need to hear the gospel. Apostolate, we talked about this in the first episode, that apostolate is ad extra, or for people out on the outside of the church, versus ad intra, people on the inside of the church, which is what ministry would be. The distinction of like parish or church ministry is shepherding the flock, taking care of, nourishing the believers who are already invested into the church. But we're also sent out fishing, to go fishing, to bring in new people, to people who don't know Jesus yet, to share the gospel with them. And especially for us as lay people who live in the secular world, who probably know a lot of people, friends, family, neighbors, coworkers, etc., who don't know Jesus yet. It is to those people that we are being sent to engage apostolate and to share the faith with. So who specifically, as we've been going through this 4-step framework, the last piece of it is who are we going to share this with? And this will be, again, maybe very charism or intention dependent as you are planning this out. Like, for example, if you are discerning that you have maybe an encouragement charism that might take flesh in like a lot of one-on-one relational context, versus, for example, if you are discerning like a writing charism and you're going to like write a book, then just like the target audience demographic is going to be much more generalized as a certain population of people. But I will say either way, regardless of what the charism is, what the forum or intention that you're going to decide to engage this in, there needs to be some sort of target audience. Even in like this social media world that I've been in for a while, talk about having a dream avatar, that basically you come up with your target audience or demographic by sort of sketching out a person. Like, there's one person with a specific problem that I am trying to solve. That's my target audience. Like a 22-year-old who just got out of college, who's navigating his life, just floating around trying to find community and purpose and energy and doesn't know what to do with it. Like, that's the specific person, that's a target audience that I'm trying to go for. And that's sort of what we're looking to do here, is who is your apostolate for? Who is your target demographic, target audience? Who are you going to invite in? So maybe 3 questions to go through this to try to figure out who are we going to do apostolate for. Number 1, the most basic, is just we start with who do you know? And we're going to talk about this more in a minute, but who do you know? Because ideally we're going to focus in on people you actually know versus the large majority of people that you may never know. Unless you have like a missionary or evangelization charism where like your heart is just for the world, for the nations, we're going to at least start with The first step, the Lord has put people in your life, so we'll start there. Who do you know? We'll talk about that in a minute. The second question is, who would this be valuable for? Because again, part of what we're trying to do here is basically to ask the question, what problem am I solving and who has that problem? Like the gospel, hopefully on offer, is a solution to an ache. It's a solution to a problem. It's a solution. It's a satisfaction of the heart's deepest desire. So what specific problem or ache does that manifest in, and how am I responding to that problem or that ache? And what kind of person has that problem or that ache? So a few examples maybe. And again, this could be based on the offers, could be based on the charisms, could be based on the intention. But say your offer, your word, your piece of the gospel that you just sets your heart on fire is like theology of the body. It's just like human sexuality. It's just really resonates with you. It's beautiful to you. You think the whole world needs to know theology of the body. What problem does that solve? Just the rampant misunderstanding of human sexuality that exists in the world. So who struggles with that problem? Maybe you decide there's a lot of teens who misunderstand human sexuality and go far astray. And they need to know that they have this ache, this problem that maybe they don't even know of. So teens who misunderstand human sexuality, that's going to be my target audience. That could be one. Maybe charism-wise, maybe let's say your charism is helps. Maybe you have a helps charism, which again is sort of like, I love being the sidekick, the personal assistant. And you say, okay, I know that there are go-getters, leaders out there with big ideas who just get burnt out. Maybe you know one specifically. Maybe it's your pastor at your church. You say, I'm going to be their assistant. I'm going to be their helper to help them to evangelize. That's my specific target audience for my apostolate. Or maybe you have like a hospitality charism and your intention, your action, your forum is, I'm going to host a brunch on Sundays. What problem maybe does that solve? Just like the problem of lack of community, the isolation that people experience. Maybe you have like friends from high school or from middle school or like from your childhood who are just kind of floating along, and maybe you saw every so often. It seems like they either don't have much community or they don't know the Lord. They definitely don't have faith community. Maybe they've just been floating. Maybe they can't cook. Maybe they don't know how to make food. So you're like, hey, let me solve that problem for you and invite you over to Sunday brunch. But we're solving a specific problem. Who would this be valuable for? Like the thing that you have on offer, the charisms that you're using, the intention, the activity that you're trying to do, who would this be valuable for is question number 2. And question number 3 would then be, well, who might say yes? Because in reality, the beginning stage of early wins in this is crucial. The momentum of like, okay, someone said yes, especially when apostolate is sort of a new endeavor for you. It's so easy to get discouraged when you just get a bunch of no's. So I actually would encourage, who might be people where you're gonna get a yes, where you're gonna get some encouragement, affirmation, a clear pathway, and there won't be a roadblock. So like, for example, if you have a mercy charism and you just really want to help the poor and the needy, rather than starting up your own like feeding the poor apostolate, maybe you just go and find a local food pantry that's already serving the homeless, and you go and help with them because you know for sure they already have a community of people to engage with. Maybe you have like a craftsmanship charism. You decide you're going to do more photo and video, and you're going to use that gift the Lord has given you to try to share the gospel in that way. Maybe just start by like asking your friends to share it. Like if you want to share your photo and video and help to evangelize in that way, start by asking friends and family, people who will do you a solid and share it for you. Just start with a little bit of that momentum. Or maybe you have a pastoring charism and you want to like bring a small group of people together to be formed over and meet every week and check in with each other. You probably should start with people you already know a little bit, rather than people who are going to be like, maybe you've met them once or twice or something like that, but people maybe you've been walking with for a while, subconsciously, people you've known for a long time. They're much more likely to say yes than maybe random people you don't know as well. It's just helpful to get the early wins. But then, once you have a few of those, then to ask who might say no, but to whom this would be valuable. Because again, it's who do I know, who would this be valuable for? And then maybe start with some people who might say yes, but then go to the people who might say no. Be bold. You have the greatest news of all time. There is salvation for a human soul on the line. Is this not worth rejection? Is this not worth asking the people who might say no? So at that point, we can maybe begin to say, who would this be valuable for regardless if they said yes or no? And I'm just going to go for it. Who has a problem that I'm looking to solve? Who would this be valuable for? And again, where we're going to start with this is just who do you know? We're going to start with people that you actually know in real life instead of, if you're going to do some kind of, even if you're going to do some kind of online social media apostolate, a really generalized target audience, even then I would say tell your friends hey, I'm starting this social media apostolate. Would you follow my account? Would you share my stuff? Comment, subscribe. Start with the people that you know, because it should be for them too. So here's what I would do as an activity for trying to figure out who do you know and who could you do this for. I call it spheres of influence, and basically I'm gonna have you can do this on your own time. You just draw 3 concentric circles, sort of like the Target logo or a bullseye. Just a small circle, a medium circle around the small circle, and a big circle around both of them. So we have sort of 3 circles and a space outside the circles. Within each of those circles, we're just going to write names. So within the smallest circle in the very, very middle, this is your best friends, your inner circle, the people you share everything with, the people who've been running with you for a long time, who you tell everything, they know everything about you. This is your core group. This is probably not more than 3, 4, maybe 5 people max. Very small group of people. In the next circle, so between the small circle and the medium circle, write the names of any other people who are good friends, who probably wouldn't fit into your inner circle, your core group of people you tell everything to, but people you see on a pretty regular basis, you get along with well, you've had good depth of conversation with, people you really genuinely care about and who care about you, that circle of people who you have some depth of relationship with and they'd be good friends to you. Write all those names in that circle. Then the third circle, so in between the second and third circle, we're going to write down all the names of any other just kind of acquaintances or people that you see on a semi-regular basis. This would be anyone co-workers or neighbors or people who you just run into regular, people at your church or something like that. People who you for sure know by name, but you don't have a lot of depth of relationship with, that you maybe could invest in more, but you see them every so often. Write down all those names. And then basically on the outside of the third circle is anyone else who could possibly exist. And of course, you don't need to write any names for that. But then you have sort of 4 tiers or spheres of influence. You have your core group, your inner circle. You have kind of your good friends in tier 2, sort of your acquaintances, people you regularly see in tier 3, and then anyone else who exists in the world. And basically what we're going to do here is you have now, this hopefully just helps you to start listing out who do you know. And be pretty thorough with it too. Just list out a bunch of names of who you know. Because hopefully what this does is it helps us to see, okay, who actually has God put into my life? And what we can do is say, which of these people are people who, it just gives you a list of names to ask the questions for, okay, who do I know? Who would this be valuable for, what I'm trying to do? Who might say yes, or who might say no, and for whom it would be valuable for. And then you just have a very clear list of names. And the key here is that it is more effective for people who are closer to the middle. Because, like we talked about in the third episode in this series, the Emmaus model is conversion. What we're eventually trying to do is conversion, to bring people to change their life radically for Jesus Christ. Conversion moves at the slow pace of relationship. It's building trust, building friendship, relationship over time. So people who are more towards the outside of the circle, yes, please do apostolate for them, invite them. But what that's going to look like is going to be a moving them towards the middle. It's going to be an investing in relationship with them a little bit, probably. And it's going to be inviting them into more of your life. So the closer they get to the middle, more effective it will be. But this at least gives you a scope of who has God put into my life, because God has placed you around specific people. I wonder this every so often, like it just catches me every so often when I'm just like, I think especially around the people who are kind of quirky in my life, who maybe rub me the wrong way. And I just go, man, there are billions of people in this world, and these are the ones God chose to put me around, huh? And it's not by chance. Like clearly the Lord has put me in this place, in this time, with these people for a specific reason. Why these people? Like, why of all the people in the world? These are the randos that God chose to put me with. But there's a reason for it. Like, out of the billions in the world, God has placed you around specific people, in a specific family, with a specific group of friends, in a specific geographic location where people exist. God has given you a certain sphere of influence with people. And so maybe part of this is that God has sent you to that region, that sphere of influence, those people, to be a light, to be the light of the world, salt of the earth, the city on a hill, to bring other people to know Jesus Christ. So I think that that is something to pay attention to. Who are the people that God has put in your life? And those are the people where we can start with. And then we can branch off from there to spread the good news, to proclaim the gospel, to make disciples of all nations as Jesus invited us to. Last thing is that once we have that list of who is our audience, and we start to discern who are the people that I'm actually going to invite, to make some invitations, to invite people into the thing that you're trying to do. Next episode, we're going to talk much more specifically about invitations in particularity. But just a few quick notes. The one note that I have that I want to make is when making invitations is to be intentional and to be personal. This is totally the way. This is always the way. I think there's a natural inclination to like, I'm going to make this big event. I'm going to make flyers. I'm going to go out broadly. I'm going to try to get everyone involved. But this never works as well as starting small, specific, and intentional with personal invites, like one by one, texting, calling one person at a time. This is I think actually the model of Jesus, that instead of trying to go wide right away to invite everyone as possible, Jesus starts small. He invests in a few and organically grows from there. The church that now is millions, billions of people across the entire world began with Jesus and 12 dudes, just investing in a few people. And the mission of the church was, you 12, go out and build the rest of the church throughout the world. Starting small, investing in a few, and growing from there. To go deep first, then to go wide. Because also in part, it's maybe not your task to get to every single person. Like God, hopefully, is putting many, many people in this sort of formation and putting this sort of call on people's hearts to go out and proclaim the gospel. So you're not alone. Hopefully, there are millions of good and holy Catholics around the world who are engaging apostolate. So you are just primarily responsible for your sphere of influence that God has given to you. So that was the audience. We have made it through these 4 words, this strategic framework. Hopefully you're beginning to hash out a concrete plan for personal apostolate, of your offer, of what word of the gospel has moved you, resonated with you, what you want other people to know, what your story is, how God has moved, changed your life, and how he could do it for other people. Number 2, what your charisms are, how the power and the grace of the Holy Spirit is manifest in and through you, so how that word takes flesh and how it has a disproportionate apostolic fruitfulness for other people, and what that charism might be. Number 3 is your intention, how you're going to specifically, intentionally carve out time, prioritize apostolate, and find some forum where it's not just work, but it's actually enjoyable for you, that you can invite people into, where you can meet people in an opportune place and time and forum, and then who that audience is going to be, who the specific people God's put in your sphere of influence, who you know, who this would be valuable for, and maybe who might say yes and whose lives might be changed. Again, if this is something as you've been listening through that you want to go deeper in, that you want some like guidance or to walk with someone on actually putting this into practice, because I don't want this just to be theoretical, like, oh, that sounds like a great idea and that maybe someone else will do it. No, you do it. I want everyone listening to this to engage a personal apostolate and use this framework. So if you want more help with it, you want more personal guidance along with it, my email will be in the description down below. Send me a message. We can talk to carve out an intentional plan for you of how you can engage a unique personal apostolate that will be life-giving for you and for others to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ to all creation and change the world. Let's do it together.